Allow me, Provincial Commissioner, please, to call upon Acting Chief Mokasi from JMPD, Johannesburg Metropolitan Department. Acting Chief Mokasi. Alishapi Matso, please.
Thank you, Program Director. MMC Public Safety in the City of Johannesburg, Dr. Mqini. The Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Elias Mawela. The Deputy PCs present here, the Johannesburg District Commissioner, General Masha, all protocol observed. Today, we acknowledge and reflect on the remarkable work of a hardworking, gracious, and extremely humble leader. As law enforcement department, we all have the same objective, which is to bring back the rule of law, as well as to ensure the safety and security of our communities, the community we serve. General has been the driving force behind numerous successful initiatives, specifically in fighting crime in Gauteng and Johannesburg, as well as fostering a collaborative, healthy working environment within different law enforcement departments and stakeholders. General, you persistently championed the integration of law enforcement department and stakeholders to work harmoniously together to reach a common goal by ensuring that all boots are on the ground. We saw that through Operation Ukaimolao. I remember during the 2021 looting, we then introduced another operation within Operation Kemolao, which was Operation Reloot from the Looters. When other provinces were struggling to recover the goods that were stolen during the looting, Gauteng province came up tops with the leadership of General Mawela when we were obviously getting information from the community. We'll then go to the people that looted, and then we reloot from them and we book the goods to the in the SAPS. Now we have the new baby, which is the legacy that General Mawela will be leaving, which is Operation Shanela. Your background in law enforcement has not only guided us through professional challenges, but has also brought a unique perspective that enriched our collective experience. In the realm of policing, General, you demonstrated exemplary dedication to upholding justice and ensuring the safety of the community we serve. Great leaders in police service are not just those who uphold the law, but are those who also inspire and empower their team to strive for justice, fairness, and safety within the communities. You contributed to our organization beyond the boardroom, reflecting a commitment to principle that safeguards the well-being of all. You leave an indelible mark in the law enforcement fraternity. Your leadership style, General, marked by integrity, resilience, and compassion, has set a standard that we aspire to emulate. You steered us through challenges, fighting crime selflessly on the ground with unwavering dedication and commitment. Your selfless nature and charisma has taught me that a great leader develops leaders around them. We saw that with the likes of General Peters. We saw that with the likes of General Selepe. We also saw that with the likes of the Ekurhuleni District Commissioner, Major General Nengobela, who was promoted during our operation in New Year's Eve midnight. For me, that was heartening and stirring. I can attest that there is more I have to what I've mentioned. You are indeed an inspiration, General. Beyond his professional contribution, this outstanding leader has positively impacted the lives of many, including mine. General, I remember when I lost my mother, you told me that there is no expiry date for a parent. You supported me through that process, and I'll forever be grateful for that, General. I also had an effect on General Mawela. In fact, I used my powers also as a woman. I would summon him during high-profile discoveries. I remember when we discovered the HQ of illegal mining in Johannesburg, and I sent the general photos. Then the general said, "Are you inside a shack?" I said, "No, General, I guess Benekant inside the mine." I said, "Come, General." It was Saturday. I said, "Come, General." And General came. Then when he arrived, I said, "Oh, I still have power." I summoned the PC. His mentorship has been pivotal, providing guidance and support. I have been profoundly influenced by General Mawela's leadership, whose lesson in law enforcement sphere has shaped my understanding of responsibility, integrity, and service to others. Thomas Kylil once said, I quote, "A good leader inspires others with confidence in him. A great leader inspires them with confidence in themselves," close quote. On behalf of the Johannesburg Metropolis Department leadership, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to your service, your leadership, and the positive impact you have made in our organization. You empowered us with the power of knowledge. You motivated us with the best mentorship. You helped us move ahead with unending motivation. Go well, Lieutenant General Mawela, Mr. Perfect Staff, Mr. Excellento, 10 out of 10, Lipagajuju. Thank you.
Chief, it's welcome. Hey, come on. Thank you very much, Chief. A round of applause.
I'm glad that PC have been invited because to this, this review and I said, let me put all these things that I was supposed to be doing today to come here and also, listen to the review and also maybe share some of the experiences that I've encountered since I've been a public MMC, and also some of the things that you still need to advise us on, as they're saying that you are moving to greener pastures. I don't know. Many people, PC, they've been saying that we are taking the reins. They say that because the EFF now is going to be taking public safety, there's going to be unruliness, there's going to be chaos, there's going to be arrogance. But you went beyond that. And I've actually learned from yourself, as the speaker have said here, correctly so, that I've attended your Okai Mulau operations. And we've given you space to operate, just to learn from you in terms of what do you mean when you're doing those things. So it was actually a playground for us to learn from those who come before us and how to do this thing. And you're always saying that, hey, there are things that, have worked, standard operation procedures and all those things. And I just get confused sometimes and I act as if I know, but I say I'm learning here. But I'm going to be fine. So we started to learn from you in terms of how SEPS works and the structures of SEPS. I had a problem with that in terms of how do you ensure that JMPD and SEPS work together, and how can JMPD act as the force multiplier in terms of actually SEPS. And you also, through yourself and also to the Major General Masha, in terms of how do we exchange information and integrate, because the problem that I think that we had was to say, how do we share information as JMPD and SEPS? And look, I think all this time now I had to learn very quickly, and I started to learn some of these languages now of the SEPS, the 1041, the 1015, or the 1051. And also I got to know what is Alpha Bravo, what. So through yourselves and also through your interactions and also to the leadership of the police, so we started to really grow. There are operations that I have to note that we've done, and I think you've done actually very well. The operations like at Hillbrow, there was a report that there was no crime that was committed in the festive season. I think that was excellent. You must just know that we also a part of it as well. Because every time when you comment PC, you don't actually have to mention us all the time. But I think that one of the highlights for me was the fact that you were able to clean with all of us as a team, Hillbrow. Hillbrow was passivated and there was no crime that was reported. You must remember when you were there, when we fought side by side and we fought these zamazamas. And when you came in, we gave you a space and you came with your unit. I think it was the NIU or something, and I copied. Then we just launched the new unit in the JMPD called the JMPD Through. So that part you actually did very well on that one there. And I think after that arrest of the Zamazamas, we actually found the nest where the Zamazamas were making their head office, where they're making their money. Because after that, you found that many areas, it was just those pockets of areas that we actually have to deal with. You have been around when we're executing orders to relocate people in the buildings. It's a mammoth task. It can be done, but you must know that some of the things is that the issue is a multidisciplinary, because we can get people out in those buildings. It's not a problem. The issue is that we need to find them alternative accommodation. So we've tried as well. There are buildings we can quickly remove people with no effort, none whatsoever. But the problem, we're engaging with the human settlement so that we are able to really clean those buildings. I'm sure in your period as a police, you've been seeing a lot of the progress made, such as the building of the police station, the training of police, the establishment of units and all of that. But with your wealth of experience, what will be your advice in dealing with some of the issues? And PC, you must know that, Ori, you might go somewhere else, but we might meet again after May 2024. Because things can happen there. So, there are some things that we have to deal with. There's the duty of what I know is that of the law enforcement officers is to protect and serve. I think that our officers currently, we must respect the uniform and be ethical and be honest. We faced a challenge there at the JMPD of the workforce which was demoralized. It was demoralized by the fact that the police are not getting paid enough. We're not paying our police enough. Also, there were issues of the promotion, and there were issues of vehicles, there were issues of manpower. So when we also joined, and also some of the things that we've been hearing, is that it looks as if even in the police, it's the problem as well. Is that we need to pay our police men and women well, so that at least they're able to deal with with the issues at home and all of that. When we interacted with the stations, yes, they said there's a shortage of vehicles and manpower. And then I would like to, maybe in your comment, there's been a very beautifully presented crime stats here in terms of the crime analysis. So maybe as a parting shot, PC, what do we do and what can be our role as JMPD to ensure that we bring this crime down, especially in those stations which have been highlighted? It's something that probably it can get us as MMCs fired if you don't know PC. But if there's no chance of us taking those stats down, making a sizable impact, we might be removed as an MMC. So I would like to tell you that my job is on the line, because the crime in the stations that have been shown here, it must actually go down. What you must know that during the national shutdown, there were some fighters of mine that were arrested, by the way. A lot of them, and I remember when I called the Brigadier Nebulwini, he just laughed. He was laughing at me like mad. So, but we got, when I visited those fighters, I saw that some of the prisons, they were not the cells, holding cells in good condition. And I think that we need to upgrade them. And I'm aware that it's not your mandate in terms of that it's a public works, but I think most probably we must push nationally that SEPS must have its own maintenance division that is there. I think also there was a cry which was very embarrassing, maybe we need to look at, is that some of the female colleagues that were arrested, they did not have sanitary towels. So for me, it was something that shocked me in terms of why we don't actually have them. And I think that also the issue of the load shedding, in many police stations, you find that there was a lack of operation of the generators. So these generators, they must actually work. I think that there are issues maybe in, as I'm about to really close, that we need to really look at. And these issues are the issues really, I'm glad that I'm seeing the leadership of SEPS that is here. And some of the things that, we need to look at is that I want to ask a question, and humbly so, to yourself, PC, and the commissioner, and also the leadership that is here. What seems to be the tensions between the JMPD and SEPS? Why? What is the problem? And maybe PC, how can we reach out in terms of let us work together because we are working for the common good? It's something that leadership have been trying to check every single time, because as a JMPD we have a mandate, a tri-band, which is your traffic, your bylaw, and the crime prevention and combating. We need SEPS so that we're able, every time when we fight criminals, SEPS needs to book them in. But we're getting stories that in Orange Farm, our people some of the police do not want to book thugs and criminals. And we found that now in Douglas Day, there is a video clip that is circulating, that a person alleging that there are officers who don't want to book criminals in. Maybe PC is something that you need to advise us on. What do we do? We've got a non-nonsense crew that has been established there, the Tactical Response Unit called the JMPD through. And it shoots to kill. Every time when the criminals they want to shoot the police, or you've got any thug who's pointing a gun, they are radical and militant young leaders, law enforcement, who wants to passivate and ensure that the crime disappears in the city of Joburg. I want to know, maybe PC, in your address, advise us as your parting shot. Maybe we must attend more meetings, I don't know. Maybe what used to happen before, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation that we are at loggerheads with ourselves, because we are derived under ourselves. We want to work with the South African Police Services so that we are able to arrest these criminals, and then we can take them to ready jail. And I think that we have to fight crime, because in Johannesburg, the state's problem director is quite high. And I just got a shock of my life. I got more depressed and depressed. Maybe I should not have come here. Because as we're doing the review now of the manifesto, I need to say, program director, what did you do? Now, when I saw those things being read, PC, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be changed here. So it's something that is some of a concern. Maybe PC, tell us, what do we do? Must we do a joint operation center? Must we get the John the Baptist to be around to do this analysis? Give us science, because I'm a man of science. I love science because I'm a Marxist. I like to believe in terms of numbers. What can we do? Maybe the person who's very important here is John the Baptist, to just tell us in terms of which are the things that are actually happening. But I hope that, PC, you're not going very far. We still have a lot of things to learn from you. And we are going to be consulting you every now and then. We might be seeing each other very, very soon. So we thank you for your leadership, and I hope that we will work together very soon. As Nelson Mandela said to us when he was leaving the stage, he said, "A luta continua." The struggle continues. Thank you.
There's no province in South Africa whereby you see the senior management on the ground patrolling, doing foot patrolling with the junior members. It's only happening here. And it's led by you. Because we understand the dynamics of Gauteng. You know, Gauteng is having its own dynamics and dynamics within the dynamics. So you need to be streetwise to understand what is this animal called Gauteng. Brigadier Benda was talking about 22,000 of consumption liquor outlet and plus minus over 6,000 of consumption liquor outlet, and the other one is on consumption, meaning the taverns and the shebins and so forth. So that exclude the licensed liquor outlet, which are mushrooming on a daily basis. And when you look at the number of the officers we have on the ground, vis-a-vis the number of the liquor outlet, even if we can deploy one police officer for each and every tavern, we won't have enough officers. The liquor outlets are more than all of us, law enforcement agencies in this province. And we know how unruly are the people in those liquor outlets when they've indulged in this alcohol. We know. So, when you see us en masse go into those liquor outlets and operate in big numbers, firstly, is to alleviate resistance, because our omnipresence must say it all. Secondly, is to assert the authority of the state. I've said to many people whom I took them around, I said, think of it. Do you think a van with 2 members from this police station will be able to can enter into this space and police these people or conduct a search? You won't know if you don't walk the streets of Gauteng. You will shout on top of your voice seated there, somewhere in the boardroom. But if you understand the dynamics of Gauteng, you'll be able to understand what your foot soldiers are going through on the ground. And you'll feel it that you must go out there and support them and work with them. So we felt that it is important for us to can combat serious and violent crime. Because as you have seen, serious and violent crime, it's a problem in this province. The criminals are daring, the criminals are armed, the criminals have no regard to human life, and they'll take out anybody who stands on their way, whether towards committing crime or when they leave a crime scene. But to deal with serious and violent crime, how are we going to deal with it? It means we need to remove the tools of trade which are in the wrong hands. And the tools of choice which the criminals are using in Gauteng is firearms, sharp objects and knives. So we need to work very hard so that we go and retrieve those. But it won't be easy for us to retrieve those things if we don't work hand in hand with the communities we serve. The community will be in the position to can share information with us only if they trust us. So you need to win their minds and hearts so that they can trust you. Trust you with their lives, whereby they can share information with you and tell you that in that room, there is so and so who's in possession of an illegal firearm. And knowing that you are not going to disclose their identity. And also knowing that you are also not collaborating or dining and wining with these criminals. Which takes me back to what I've said. Once you realize the power of your presence, you won't just be anywhere with just anybody. Because that anybody whom you will be with, it can also erode the trust which the people are having on you. Simple. Simple. If there is a known criminal here in this province, and then everybody, they see me walking side by side with this criminal, will the people of Gauteng have confidence in me? They will lose confidence in the whole service. They will simply say that, that man is untouchable. Even the provincial commissioner is running behind this person. We further said you are going to tackle organized crime and corruption. And I'll break it into 2. Organized crime. Here in this province, we all know, syndicates, they are staying in this province. And they are operating from here. Syndicates. MMC, other stations, you may see that crime is very low. Not to say there's no crime there. That's why you'll get the real syndicates, like you are run back here. You remember the Sabians. You won't hear anything about the Sabians, but when they take you out, they'll take you out. And they're staying here. You are Douglas Dale. So, organized crime, it remains a problem. And hence we came up with this thing of identifying the high flyers. You know what I'm talking about. I've engaged you about these high flyers. And said to all of us, let us deal with these high flyers systematically, one by one. And I'm worried, General Marshal, because of in Johannesburg, we don't move with the speed which we wanted you to can move in. And most of the high flyers are here in Johannesburg. These high flyers, they establish the parallel structure of policing, whereby they'll decide who dies when and how. Whereby they decide who must be protected and who must not be protected. Whereby they decide who must be touched and who must not be touched. The high flyers will tell the station commander to say, look here, station commander, I've seen your police officers, they are harassing my person. Tell your police officers to stand down. And station commander will pick up the phone and phone the members. What are you doing there? Leave that person alone. You won't be able to deal with the high flyers if you are compromised. Because the high flyers, they forever carry an ace card against you. They forever carry the ace card against you. And as a provincial commissioner, if they are having an ace card against me, I'll look like a naked emperor. You see the emperor who appear naked. Because once I want to act, they'll simply say, Provincial Commissioner, you remember that day when we were with prostitute, it was so nice. And the Provincial Commissioner said, no, let us not talk about that thing. I said, okay, also let us not talk about this case. And that's it. So, if we want to deal with organized crime, please, go back to what I've said. Realize the power of your presence. And don't just be anywhere and everywhere with anybody. Corruption. This thing, corruption, it requires the men and women with courage. It requires people who have the appetite to can go into uncharted terrain, who are fearless. Who are fearless. It pains my heart when I see what is circulating in the social media. People, they will circulate this van, that one, I think it's a Datsun or Nissan, the yellow one, the old police van. They say, hey, this van, the drivers were not taking Jojo, but this one, they showed this one, which you are driving, you now. Say, this one cannot be trusted. And believe you me, we don't buy trust, we earn it. We don't buy trust, we earn it. So the community, they've lost trust in us because of what we are doing. And this thing of mobilizing the community and community engagement, which I've said we must do, is to win back the minds and hearts of the people, so that the people, they must believe in us. That when they raise issues with us, we are responsive. When they raise issues with us, we do what we understand. We put ourselves in their shoes. But clearly it looks like we don't understand them. That is why they're gradually losing trust in us. Let me tell you, the crime stats is not a determining factor to the trust of the community. Let me tell you what will make the community to trust you. Because there are some other areas whereby crime is so high, it's red. But the station commander takes the community into confidence, he shows them the situation and whatever. And when the community, they report crime, is very responsive. When they call, he answers the phone, when they do this thing. The community trusts that police station, the station commander, more than any other station commander whereby the crime is very low. They will tell you that, no, we know that crime is very high and we understand why crime is very high because the station commander is taking us on board and we understand what is the station commander going through. But what we are happy about is that this station commander is very responsive. His or her members are very responsive. When we call, they answer the phone. When we are complaining about this thing, they come. When, they are very responsive. That thing, it will win you the minds and hearts of the people you are serving. You find the station commander is having a grievance because of the community member says, if you don't help me, I'm going to phone the provincial commission. Okay, phone your provincial commission, I don't care. Instead of grabbing the opportunity to win the heart and mind of that person, to say, look here, I'm going to service you. Actually, there's no need to phone the provincial commissioner. I will give you what you want. Instead of throwing tantrums. That is policing 101. I said we need to reduce the levels of crime. Now I'm going to talk about what John the Baptist have presented here. When I say we are going to reduce the levels of crime, remember when I arrived here, I've said to reduce the levels of crime is not to do what? Manipulate the crime stats. We need to reduce crime. We need to create an environment whereby it is difficult for criminals to commit crime. We need to remove the opportunities for crime to be committed. You all know the golden triangle of crime. The perpetrator there, who's having an appetite to commit crime. There's the victim there, who's vulnerable. And here's the environment which is conducive, making it easy for that perpetrator to commit crime against this vulnerable victim. All what we need to do is to cut one corner of that triangle. We make the environment difficult for the criminals to commit crime. How do we do that? There is technology there. Here's the old lady who just received a SASA grant. Here's the criminal who's having an appetite, wants to rob this old lady. But the old lady, she's standing right under the cameras. So it means the environment is not conducive for that one to commit crime because of he will be captured by these cameras. So the old lady will be saved until somebody whisks the old lady away. Second scenario, it may be the same as this one, but the old lady, she's standing where there's no cameras. Now, the criminals say, yeah, she have moved away from the cameras. Now I'm going to rob her. Before the criminal could rob this old lady, there's the police officer in uniform standing next to the old lady. Something which we call it police visibility. Then that potential criminal say, hey, I'm no longer going to continue because the police officer is nearby. If I commit crime, I'll be arrested. We remove that condition which are conducive for the criminal to commit crime. I can go on and on and on with examples. If we don't deal with the environment, that is why I forever talk about the environmental design. We can deal with the second corner of this triangle. We deal with the perpetrator, him or herself, directly so. by making the life of this person uncomfortable. Stop and search. Pivot this person. Profile this person. Harass this person. End up saying, I naksa, so it's over and search. That's how we can reduce the levels of crime. But that is not the only way. Because there are other elements which you must also add in. That collaboration with stakeholders, collaboration with the communities you serve, the environmental design, the whole of government approach, working together with the prosecutors, what makes the people to commit crime is that they know the likelihood of them being arrested is zero. And if they are arrested, the likelihood of them being convicted is also zero. So they continue to do this thing. But if we work together, the whole value chain of the criminal justice system, we send the very strong message to the criminals out there that you dare commit crime in Gauteng, you are going to be arrested. And once you are being brought to court, the prosecutor and the investigating officer, they'll work together. They'll fearlessly oppose bail. You'll remain behind bars until your case has been finalized. And you know what? The area commissioner will gladly keep you there in Sun City until your case has been finalized. That on its own, working together, that value chain, it serves as a deterrent to the criminals not to commit crime. Ensuring optimal utilization of modern information technology available at our disposal. And this is one of the reasons when I came here, I say, let's mobilize all the resources in our disposal in this province. Because this province is known to be the economic hub. It means if you want to see the modern technology, you'll find it here. You'll find it here in this province called Gauteng. Show me any other province in South Africa whereby that province is having 3 metropolitan police departments. KZN is having 1, Ekurhuleni. Port Elizabeth, there in Eastern Cape, they are still struggling to establish 1. Free State, they are still struggling. They have only the commander in Bloemfontein. Cape Town, the whole Cape Town, they're having 1. I mean the Western Cape. So Gauteng is the only province where we have 3 MPDs. 3. So those are available resources. MMC, I've never said, even to a single person to say that when you say I can offer this, I said, no, I don't want to. Because when you deal with issues of crime, we don't compete, we complement each other. And I used to say to all my colleagues that those who want to compete, the Olympics are coming. Go and join and compete there. But here, fighting crime, we complement each other. Make no mistake. When I arrived here, and actually I've worked with the MPDs even before I came to this province. And they can tell you, since the dawn of democracy, I was the second chairperson of the net joints in this country. After General Praise, it was me, chairperson of the net joints. And in a net joint structure, we bring all the resources together, we work together. And I've worked with the people of this province before I was deployed here. They know me. But acting director can tell you, even we coordinated so many events. I think the last one before I joined this province, it was the funeral of Mama Winnie, where we were working side by side before I joined the province. So, and most of the time, sometimes I go to my archives, I'll show her the videos taken by somebody from the bridge when the escort was coming like this, going to the West Park Cemetery there. So we work together. It can be the issue of some few who are pushing their own personal interest, but not in the name of the SAPS. They are pushing their own agendas, and once we identify them, let us deal with them as individuals. We deal with them as individuals. Because there's no instruction issued by the provincial commissioner or the district commissioner to say you don't work with this one, work with this one. We are also the first province to can mobilize the resources from the private sector. Through the Business Against Crime South Africa, Eyes and Ears, E2 project, bringing the private sector to work with us, because we have seen that they bring the technology which we as the SAPS, we don't have. The MPDs in this province, each one of them, they bring the technologies, sophisticated technologies which the SAPS doesn't have. GMPD is bringing the technology which the SAPS doesn't have. And when we operate with GMPD there, they unleash their technology there, they make things easy for us. Where we are working, we call it a one-stop shop. Once we stop you, we deal with you, all of us, each one of us executing their legislative mandate, and we deal with you. When we leave, we are done. Gone are those days when you come to the roadblock, you stop, they say license. They check the license, they check the disc, and then you go. We check everything. Why do we check everything? We are taking advantage of all the technology which is there, which it will assist us to can catch criminals, even those who have invaded the arrest the longest time. We catch them. The local government, including the provincial government, in some of the roadblocks, they further bring in the nurses who are also going to assist us to draw the blood of those who are found to be driving under the influence of alcohol there and there. Because we have seen that when we work at the roadblock and we arrest one person, a van is leaving the roadblock, is going to detain that person, we arrest the second one. When we arrest the 20th suspect, it's only me and General Masha and Director Mukasi left at the roadblock, because all officers, they must go and detain. So by bringing everybody there, we deal with you, put you in the truck. When we drop you at the police station, then it's done. We went to the communities we served during the 2019 and beginning 2020 through the Imbizo that we conducted before the country was thrust into the COVID-19 pandemic. We took that opportunity to determine the needs of our communities and to determine how best we could improve service delivery. We have further endeavored to entrench ourselves in these communities. First, with instruction that I have issued to the districts and stations declaring Wednesday a stakeholder engagement day. I hope that for your own sake, you have heeded that call and that you are still engaging your communities and stakeholders on a weekly basis. Secondly, we introduced the street imbizos as part of our Thursday Operation Chanel. Sustaining these efforts have led us to win back the hearts and minds of our law-abiding citizens. Our communities appreciated Operation Okai Molao. They know that it will get to their area eventually. When it did, they appreciated it while the criminals felt our presence. We continued to assert the authority of the state through the weekly anti-crime campaign, and that started to give our communities faith in the police. We might not be there yet, but we have made a lot of progress, and we are surely on the right track. We have to be proud that Okai Molao made so much impact that the nation noticed. We became a household name nationally and internationally. Head office then elevated it to national, and now it has been launched as Operation Chanela. This is something to be proud of, our hard work, which didn't just go past unnoticed. To the Community Police Forum, chairperson and deputy chairperson and all the executive members who are here with us, The stronger the structure, the better the station will be in terms of community mobilization. We have a problem. You know this thing of vigilantism and taking the law into their own hands and all those other things. Colleagues, the question is, why we don't know about it before it happens? Why we don't know about it? CPF, why we don't know about it before it happens? Or it is because of this crowd dynamics. You know, in a crowd, once the crowd is together, once one person throw a stone, then the hell will break loose. Because one thing will lead to another and end up killing people. But we must condemn this thing, all of us. At all levels, we must condemn it. We must refuse to listen to whatever reason which they are advancing. We must refuse to say that there's no plausible reason for the people who are taking the law into our own hands. There's no plausible reason. If we allow these things to continue, one day it's going to hit hard at our own backyard. Because somebody will accuse your own relative, will accuse you, will accuse your wife, your children, your husband, and whoever, to say this is the person who did that. And the community, they mobilize, they go for you, they kill you. It's what we want. In a democratic South Africa, we must have a little faith in our criminal justice system. If we don't like how our criminal justice system is structured, let us influence the lawmakers to change the laws. But it is not for us to take the law into our own hands. The law is very clear. The Criminal Procedure Act is very clear. It says any citizen of this country between the age of 18 and 65 years, he or she can effect an arrest. But after effecting an arrest, must hand over that person to the police. But they also say that he can effect an arrest if that particular person commit an offense in the presence of that person. What does it mean? It means it doesn't give members of the community the mandate to investigate crime. You act only if that is happening in your presence. And after effecting an arrest, it doesn't say beat him up. It says take him to the police. That's what the law says. And if the citizens of this country, they don't like what the law says, let them influence the lawmakers to change the law. Because where we are, the law says so. So this thing of vigilantism, it remains a problem in Gauteng. And it is one of the contributors of the number of the murders which we are having here. But what does it say to us as leaders in the community? It means we have lost control of our own constituencies or our subject or our followers, or we have lost control of the community. We allow communities to can do as they wish. Tina, when we grew up, we will go and consult our leader. Hey, my leader, there is this thing and that. Leader say, hey, yeah, I'll come. Hey, we'll come, we'll deal with this. And then we'll be guided how to deal with these things. But if communities, they can just form lots and lots of committees and whatever, and just do as they wish, and then you claim to be representing that community, it means you have lost control. And until such time that you speak in one voice and say, we condemn this thing. It's not fashionable, it's not cool, and it's not the right thing to do. We need the community to be the eyes and ears of the police, to protect local infrastructure, to protect the police, to protect one another, to protect everything in the community. We see in other communities, schools are being vandalized. And that school is just in the middle of houses, surrounded by houses like this, but it gets vandalized. School property gets stolen. You go somewhere there, you find that Brigadier Kubeka, she's arranging a wedding of her daughter. Then there sees the chairs written Standard 5B, Kwalinyalo. And then we think that it is cool. People are just removing the property of the public property and they're using it for whatever, and then we say it's okay. People, they just go to a school and break their windows and then we say it's okay. People, they go to schools, they steal the groceries and then we say it's okay. These things can be minimized, can be defeated, it can be mitigated through talking to the communities. The communities around the school, they must serve as a buffer. They must be the first line of defense for that school. In that street, we must be able to know who's my neighbor, this neighbor, that neighbor, that neighbor, that neighbor, just like that. And we begin to protect each other. We have on various occasions managed to bring resources closer to the community that were not able to easily access our services. We have given several police station mobile CSCs. We have re-established a number of satellite police stations. Brigadier Bender, I think you have covered that one. And officially opened one police station in Tshwane, SAPS Dube, during the past 5 years. Specifically for Johannesburg District, we have opened Doornkop satellite and revamped and upgraded it to become a fully fledged police station. Cleveland Police Station has been renovated and members are now working in a conducive environment. We have also, we are also building this Enadale police station there. We have also have to continue to nurture and ensure the sustainable relationship with our stakeholders and partners. The MOU between the SAPS and the Business Against Crime South Africa should remain the vehicle for partnering with private security companies for security reasons. Those affiliated with Business Against Crime have been vetted. This must be done through the Eyes and Ears initiative. We seated with the problem, especially those security companies which are mostly operating in the townships. They are not part of the Eyes and Ears project. Now it gives an impression as if we, the police, we are only working with the security companies, well-established security companies which are now in those big suburbs. And it is for us, station commanders, to go and engage the owners of those security companies to say that for you to be part of the E2 project, you don't affiliate with any cent, you don't pay any money, it's for free. All what you need to do is to complete the joining fee, and then your security company will be given the code of conduct, and then you'll be afforded an opportunity to be trained that how do you work with the police, how do you protect information which you are getting from the police, not to leak certain information and so forth. And you become part of the E2 project. That's all what it is required.